Why serious composers should not use AI as a creative tool. There is a growing pressure on composers to embrace AI as a creative partner, an insistence that resisting it is nostalgic, elitist, or fearful of progress. This framing is false. Serious composers are not rejecting technology. They are rejecting the misrepresentation of authorship. AI may be useful in processes, but it can never be justified as a tool for creative composition. And the difference matters. Creation is not assembly. Composition is not the act of assembling pleasing patterns. It is the act of choosing under constraint, risk, memory, failure, and intention. Every meaningful composition is the result of lived experience, aesthetic judgement, physical interaction with sound, cultural placement, emotional consequence. AI possesses none of these. It does not intend, it does not hesitate, it does not risk being wrong. It predicts. AI is fundamentally unoriginal. AI systems do not create new musical language. They interpolate existing ones. All generative music models are trained on existing human-made work, statistically analysing pitch relationships, rhythm tendencies, harmonic probabilities, stylistic signatures. What emerges is not originality, but averaged familiarity. This is not an insult. It is a technical fact. AI cannot reject precedent, break a system it does not understand, develop a personal syntax, respond to silence as meaning, create tension through restraint, invent form through failure. Every new result is a recombination of what already exists. Groundbreaking art, by contrast, often fails before it works. AI never fails, it only optimizes. Emotion cannot be simulated into existence. Music does not contain emotion. Emotion emerges through human perception of intentional gesture. When a composer distorts time, fractures form, or denies resolution, the listener senses a human struggle behind the sound. AI has no inner life to encode, no body to resist, no fear of exposure, no personal stake. An AI-generated lament is not sad. It merely resembles music that once accompanied sadness. This distinction is not philosophical. It is perceptual. Listeners intuitively detect when music lacks human risk. Tools are not the same as authors. There is an important and often deliberately blurred distinction here. AI-like systems have been used in music for decades in non-creative roles, including pitch correction and tuning analysis, tempo detection and alignment, audio restoration and noise reduction, orchestration mock-ups, score layout and notation optimization, spectral analysis and timbral visualization, recommendation systems, adaptive mixing and mastering assistance. These tools operate after or around human creative decisions. They do not decide what should exist, why it should exist, or whether it should exist at all. The moment authorship is transferred, the work ceases to be composition and becomes output management. AI collapses aesthetic responsibility. Serious composers are accountable to their influences, their audience, their tradition, their ethical stance, their own failures. AI assumes no responsibility. The work is hollow, cliched, or ethically compromised. The composer cannot point to a model and claim authorship with integrity. Delegating creative decision-making also delegates aesthetic courage. Groundbreaking music has always required the willingness to sound wrong, offend taste, fail publicly, work in isolation, resist efficiency. AI is built to remove exactly these pressures. Innovation comes from limit, not scale. Human composers work within constraints: physical ability, time, memory, training, culture, personal obsession. These limits shape voice. AI has no limits, only scale. Scale does not produce insight, it produces saturation. The result is a vast increase in musical noise, not musical meaning. The cost is cultural, not technical. When AI-generated music is normalised as composition, several things happen. Originality becomes stylistic mimicry. Voice becomes optional. Authorship becomes obscured. Excellence becomes statistical. Risk becomes inefficient. This does not democratise music, it devalues it. True accessibility comes from education, time, patience, and mentorship, not from the bypassing the act of learning to listen and choose. Conclusion. Process is not creation. Serious composers should not reject AI out of fear, they should reject it out of clarity. AI may assist workflow, analysis, preparation, translation between systems. It must never be allowed to replace intention, judgement, risk, failure, authorship. Because music is not the generation of sound. It is the human act of meaning-making under pressure. Copyright 2025, Sane de la Mare, The Continuum Approach.